Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the No Pussies Allowed Crypto Podcast. Went off the deep end with the thumbnail. Good morning. I'm Bill. This is Tobie. Hello.
The outfit was cute. I mean, I don't ever wear orange, but little bit dominatrixy.
Yeah. We're going with like a totally inappropriate theme. We need a distraction from this market. So hopefully you'll
if you're into self-flagellation,
you'll forgive us for just being off the deep end.
It is called unhinged. So
it is unhinged,
I
right?
think deep end, off the deep end.
Right, and we're covering the full spectrum today. I haven't decided whether I'm covering it in the market update yet, but I do have like a Jesus Easter analysis to balance out our gross inappropriateness today. Where we're going to ask Tobie a whole bunch of questions. In the meantime, we're going to welcome the loyal viewers.
Yay!
Right? Wrong again. Bill up early. Yes, up early, making thumbnails and titles and doing analysis for you. Christopher, what's up? Right. Oh, we may have non-members here. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I didn't push the right button. Wealth Ranger is here. Today's Tech Bites. Bob, Donato. All right. Well, if there's somebody wants to ask about World War III, that was a very Huckleberry native in the house, a member with the Bill and Tobie emoji in the right-hand corner. What's happening, everybody? Good morning. Okay. So let's just get to it. Let's just get to it, shall we?
Let's.
Okay. So I did a bunch of work. I did a bunch of roadmaps.
You always work hard.
Thank you. So do you.
You're a hard worker.
And I did a bunch of stuff on Grok, and we came up with a roadmap. And some of it's like, 120, 140.
Oh, you showed me a little bit of it.
Yeah. He just looked at me and goes, and he went, the prices are too low. And I just kind of looked at you, and you were like, I got to go pick up my dry cleaning. Your prices are too low. I'm like, what? So, of course, I'm out looking for the buried treasure. I'm trying to figure out how we would get there. Okay.
Get where?
To 250K in Bitcoin. Because.
Well, I think, last year, my prediction was this was going to look a lot like 2017. So it's kind of looking like that.
Okay. Well,
did I surprise you with that?
Well, no, because I do have a query, a historical query that said when XRP was having this little positive outperformance period versus Bitcoin, that the last time you saw that was in October of 2017. But that was the beginning of like a banana singularity, right? Like Bitcoin just, went, starting in October, Bitcoin went one dip, 4 days, 10 days, maybe. And then straight up, it was, now it's funny trying to advertise it. It's interesting on YouTube trying to advertise a banana singularity when everyone's bearish and the market has created a crisis in its mind. We have what I call a psychic crisis, right? So I'm trying to dig into you keep saying 2017. You're never wrong about these things. I'm like, oh my God, where is it? Where is it? Okay. So I'll spare you my drama. So here are some things. Here are some things to inquiring minds may want to know about. So, okay. So war is back, right?
Another war.
Another war. So here's war in 10 words or less. So the Orange Man basically told the Russians to take Ukraine, which they're doing. So peace in our time. And then the Orange Man starts shooting massively at Yemen, who can fight back because they are the gatekeepers of the Red Sea. And then Israel turns around and just launches on Gaza out of nowhere. And it's pretty obvious that this is being driven by, the Israeli lobby that gave the Orange Man like $200 million. Okay, anyway. So given that these guys...
I heard he's like, any Palestinians who are protesting get deported.
Yeah, hi, welcome, meet ICE, right? So mass deportations are not happening unless you're criticizing whatever they're doing now. So are they going to push this thing to where, because I don't know, the geopolitical crowd is saying this could escalate massively.
Yeah, well, they've said that after everything. I mean, I think the biggest one we saw was really Ukraine, and Trump is just not. I mean, it started to feel like Vietnam. It's like we're always in there. We're all, it's like, I'm not really worried about the war,
Okay.
and especially, I mean, these kind of things can happen as you're seeing, right?
Right.
And the market, or specific coins, but the market also in general, it has an energetic pattern. But these outside influences can suppress or pump up things greater than they would normally be, right? So we're always going to have those things. Predicting them is really challenging, but this doesn't feel like it's going to be a big deal, the media, and and also, the Trump likes to cause controversy. Why are we surprised? That's what he did the last time. I mean, that's just a part of his personality, maybe from being on reality TV for so long. I don't know, but it's, and unfortunately, fear has a negative impact on the market. And then, but you can only suppress the energy so much. And the good thing is that the more and the longer the energy is suppressed, when it is released,
it's banana singularity.
Yeah. And so we're going to get what we're going to get. The road there may look a little bit different. I mean, this year we could have had slow Bitcoin incremental growth, which would have bored everybody to tears. Instead, we've got drama, and it's going down, and and all this stuff going on. But it doesn't really matter, because we're going to hit close to that target anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, I was going to tell you what I thought, but that's a waste of time. So let's go.
What did you think? You think there's going to be another war?
No. Well, I think the more they do this, the more people are just going to look at this and go, this whole government thing is fake, and I'm tired of it, and I want something different, which is crypto. Right.
Oh, well,
that's what I'm not. I mean, yeah, it can be negative.
That is the ongoing narrative that we're just seeing the beginning of. You have to remember where we are with this technology right now is very, very similar to the early days of the internet,
Right.
And not a lot of people had it. And, eventually it's going to be, what do you mean you don't have internet? I did have one friend who only got internet when COVID. She was an artist and a teacher and did not ever have the internet, which is remarkable to me. But during COVID, she had to go online to teach, and it was an interesting experience, but that's that's a huge anomaly. I mean, we may still have it, but this is what we're looking at. You have to look at it like we're building a technology. If you look at it like that, then everything starts to make sense. If you look at it about a one-time opportunity, if you still have that meme coin mentality, then you're going to struggle, and you're going to struggle in this market. There's nothing wrong with it if that's what you want to do on the sideline, but make sure you're also looking at this like a technology and investing in it the way an investor would. I mean, what I love about crypto is even if you don't put in a lot of money, you get to play like you're a venture capitalist, with these very small startups. And that's a lot of fun to me.
Okay. So that brings me to the next question, which, why has the crypto market created a crisis in its mind, which looks like FTX? So the crypto market has officially created this environment, recreated in its mind, a crisis with no crisis. We have crisis sentiment with no crisis.
Yeah.
Right. And, is that something that is that like the war thing, when it unwinds, when the suppression, when everybody wakes up from the slumber or gets red pilled in the matrix, like why did we do it and how do we get out of it? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that
no?
No, that's not a good question.
No, it's not that it's not a good question, but you were kind of all over the place, and I'm trying to figure out what the actual question. You're saying why?
When are people going to wake up from the fact that?
Oh well, when is a challenging question?
Oh, okay, well,
but if you want to know why,
why did we create a crisis when there's no crisis? Let's try that.
It's all psychology, and I think I sent you that article a few days ago or last week or something that I thought was really interesting, the statistics on who was getting out of the market.
Right.
And the majority of the people who were getting out of the market were people who bought in at the high, they FOMO'd in, they were mostly newbies, and then they got burnt, and they're like, I'm not playing this crypto game anymore, and they took their money and went home. Sorry folks, the landscapers are here. I don't know if you can hear it, but they'll go away in a couple minutes. Move on to another
right,
part of the yard.
Eagle King is saying something about gas prices dropping, which I appreciate from the Eagle King, but gas prices are dropping. Meanwhile, they're doing all this stuff in the Middle East. So they got gas prices down so they could get gas prices up. But that's probably more of a market update thing. We'll talk about that there.
That's
okay, so next question.
Okay.
Borrowing money and debt. Is debt good for Bitcoin? Because we have U.S. doing
what
9
kind
trillion.
Of debt? You mean the U.S. debt?
Okay, well, we have a couple.
Or you mean people's
good
personal debt? Or
okay, let me tell you.
Okay.
So Uncle Sugar needs to get 9 trillion in new debt this year to refinance. Okay, the Germans have said they're going to go.
He needs to create 9 trillion. Is that what you're saying?
He
needs to refinance.
He needs to issue $9 trillion worth of new bonds to refinance old bonds that are maturing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Uncle Sugar's got to get 9 trillion. The Germans have decided that after being enemies with the Russians for 100 years, they're going to spend on defense when it's over. So they said they're going to issue bonds, whatever it takes. Crazy. And then I saw something this morning that said, companies like Joann's and Big Lots are going out of business because there's some process with a tax loophole that's allowed private equity or venture capital firms to basically do exactly what the banks did in 2008. Take ultra risky variable rate loans, and it could backfire. So is this debt thing going to be propellant for Bitcoin and crypto?
Okay, well, it feels like that question had a couple of different parts to it. So, because what private banks do, to me, it is a different thing than what the government does. So I think we mentioned this on another show. I don't know if this is the last one or the one before, about debt and the government, and how it's a very different thing from other kinds of debt. So then, to me, irrelevant. Like I said, there's only been once in recent history where we had a balanced budget. Nothing really changed, and because it doesn't really make a difference. It's all imaginary, people. It's all imaginary. And the way that debt works for governments is very, very different from the way it works for people. Now, the other question was about, these private equity firms putting businesses out of business because of super
risky debt that, I don't know, the debt's been packaged and sold to pension funds.
Okay. I'm not making the connection on what you're asking.
So could there be a problem with the banks because of a repeat of 2008 that was, subtle? It's subtle, but just as bad. Can there be an event that triggers 250K Bitcoin that comes from banks? Problems with banks.
That would probably be a more likely scenario. I'm not really feeling that, I mean, you mentioned two particular businesses that I think they're doing fine. So I'm not sure. I think for something like that to happen, I mean, it's like you're feeding me breadcrumbs, but they're not really connecting and gelling into a picture for me.
Okay.
Right. I do think that it's more of a general narrative about banks rather than this big event. You know, it's going to kind of be like, you know, the whole war thing. They're going to blow it up into a big event, but it ends up being a nothing burger, as you like to say. Right. So right now, it really feels like it's not going to be a crisis that causes it to bloom. In fact, I feel like it's going to be more about a prosperity that causes it to bloom. Right.
Okay.
I mean, we're due for that anyway, energetically. We've been in a weird sort of financial winter situation, you know, since COVID, and a lot of that was artificial. It was not as bad as everybody thought it was going to be. It got pretty bad at one point, but it's been a relatively mild winter, and I think this year we'll start to see the first little shoots of green spring coming up, right? And then that leads to summer, right? So yeah, this is an analogy I learned from Tony Robbins, and it makes a lot of sense, right? If you look at financial charts as being seasonal, I feel like we're in a springtime. The energy that's going into the market feels very much like spring. And if you know, like how spring works, not in Texas, it's like cold, freezing, and then 2 days later, grass starts growing up. But in general, the seeds are lying underground and growing. It's not super, super visible. And that's kind of how it feels to me. Rather than a catastrophe pushing people into investing in crypto, it's actually going to be a prosperity that's going to bring people in, right? And it's just like.
So you're saying like an AI-based prosperity trade. So like, like the new future. One guy is saying like the best AI trade, according to one guy, is Bitcoin. Like it's the new prosperity trade, right?
I think that sort of mentality is really going to hit people, especially as, more and more AI stuff becomes really, really popular.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
All right. So that concludes the disaster porn. The disaster porn.
Well, I think that's why we're a good mix, because you have an attraction to that.
Well, no, it's just just what's out there. It's like.
I know.
Yeah, Tobie's like,
but I don't watch the news. I guess that's my problem.
Good morning, it's spring, and there's Big Boy, in his office going, it's not winter, it's not the bear market. Tobie's like, it's spring, and everybody online is like, it's winter. Yeah, that's all. That's horseshit. Okay, so
it's just we don't really feel it yet, but the things are growing, the seeds are sprouting, their little shoots are getting ready to pop up, and it's going to be.
Okay, so let's
slide presentation.
Yeah, let's go from disaster to Winston Churchill, Tony Robbins, and Jesus. Let's do that because we are not boring here. We're not. Billy Clyde says the bluebonnets are out in Texas. They are. Okay, so we'll probably cover this later. I'll cover it later, but of course you'll provide.
I have to go out, and it's a thing here in Austin, to go out and get your picture taken in front of bluebonnets.
Yeah. And
since I've been living here, I haven't done it once. I feel like
we need to
I should do that. I should do a bluebonnet picture. I got to find a good bluebonnet spot.
All right. Yeah. I mean, if you can do it without getting roused by state troopers for clogging up the highway, because that's where all the bluebonnets are.
No, you can go out into hill country
and go out there.
Those
all right. Well, a bluebonnet picture coming near you. All right. So sentiment without a crisis, a lesson from history and the unknown future.
Okay.
Winston Churchill
Everybody take
says,
notes.
right? Everyone take notes, right? So I regularly
The
get this.
professor.
I regularly get this lecture by, I don't know, like by everybody. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Okay, so I've definitely heard this lecture before. Now here is the analytical non-disaster porn thinking. I'm just going to read it. Yet for all this uncertainty, there is one difference between today and the 1930s, which is what Ray Dalio thinks. The structural rise.
Ray Dalio is kind of a negative guy.
Yeah,
I told you I met him. Yeah, it was really interesting. I'm trying to remember who he was having a discussion with, and the other guy was like a super optimist. So it was interesting watching them.
Yeah, because this says, unlike the manufacturing trade-dependent world of the 30s, this is powered by technology, innovation, and consumer spending. You know, while uncertainty dominates in the present, the larger trajectory suggests, this is what you just said, that the technological process and economic evolution may ultimately outweigh short-term disruptions.
They just said it in a really logical way. Are you sharing the screen?
Yeah, I was sharing the screen. So I'm going to take off. I'm going to take the screen share off.
Oh.
Okay, and if you're going to refill your coffee, all right, then I'll do Jesus.
I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I'll do the Jesus thing. I'll explain it to people. All right. So I started off. I had this historical data machine that I used to work with at Goldman, and I'm looking to do something seasonal. So you do it around holidays, spring. Tobie's talking about the spring. I'm like, all right, let's try to do something around spring. So I noticed that this past Sunday, I was like, oh, when's Easter? I asked the computer. I was like, Good Friday, I think, is not Easter, but Good Friday is in 33 days. And I have Good Friday historical data in my machine. So I'm like, 33, that feels like a GAN number. I'm not sure, but let's try it. So let's ask the machine, what happens to Bitcoin starting 33 days before Good Friday? So it's a Sunday, and we got 33 days left to go until Good Friday. What happens? All right, so we got a member question before I give you that. How do recent astrological shifts marry with the energy in the markets? I find this stuff interesting. Okay, well, let me finish Jesus, and then we'll go to Mercury and retrograde and planets. So here's the Jesus query, right? It's Sunday and it's 33 days before Black Friday, before Good Friday. Okay. As it turns out, Bitcoin has started long-term rallies around Easter.
2017. There's that magic year again.
A couple of instances where 33 days before Easter. So if you go between a month before and a month after Easter in English, Bitcoin goes up. Okay.
Which coincides with like the May rally too, right?
Right. So 2017, there was a 66% rally around Easter. In 2019, when we went from winter to spring, it was 118%.
Yeah.
And then just for a laugh, there was 1,000x in 2011 when Bitcoin traded at 75 cents. Mm-hmm. So Bitcoin went from 75 cents, I think, to $100. So we're in a bullish seasonal period, and everyone's bearish. Everyone's bearish. I don't understand it. Right. And if you just look at what goes on around Easter, or just look at what goes on March, February, somewhere around this time of year, you can get huge moves. Okay. So astrology planets, got a client asking, Mercury went into retrograde today. I know you hate that.
Well, it's not that I hate it. It's just that, Mercury goes into retrograde all the time.
Right.
Yeah. And if you plotted out every point of market turn with the Mercury going retrograde, you would not find a huge amount of correlation with
right.
Mercury. So I don't really look. Everybody's like, oh, Mercury's retrograde. Sometimes it does on a personal level. It can affect, like interpersonal communications, but on a major scale, it's not very reflective of anything, in my opinion. I think the other bigger planets have a more there's a
right. Well, we have Venus in retrograde right now, and we're just coming off an eclipse.
yeah.
Venus goes back to normal in like mid-April.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, I keep looking for 2017, and all I run into online is disaster porn and Venus in retrograde.
Because it's so easy for people to be negative. But you have to think, if you're looking at these astrological anomalies, you know, or incidents, you have to look at the energy of the planet, right? So and then also, you know, what aspects it's making to other planets, because just a singular planet going into retrograde doesn't really necessarily.
There's multiple dimensions to that.
Yeah, and so figuring all of it out, I mean, Venus is a good one because it affects people's psychology about. It's really about, Venus is about relationships, really. And so you could think of it then about the relationship people have to the market and their money, right? As a thing. And that could, you know, but when you're going to see Mars and Jupiter, for me, have much bigger outsized influence on markets than anything else. That's the kind of stuff I would look at. And because, you know, crypto is a technology, you might even want to look at, you know, some of the smaller planets outside, but the big ones are you looking it up?
No, I had something about when Jupiter comes into play. I don't know if
because Jupiter is a planet of expansion,
right.
So Jupiter, that's what I was saying. If Jupiter goes into retrograde, then and Mars is an energy about growth and stuff like that. Okay. So those kind of retrogrades, I think, would be a lot more critical.
Right. So I do have this because I did do, you know, I have a Gann roadmap for every day of the week. So May has got Jupiter and Gemini, which is growth, right?
Yeah.
And that's why.
So that's what I'm saying. Looking at these aspects is more important than just looking at how a planet acts all by itself. So that well, Saturn is about restriction, but also security.
Well, that thing said discipline.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Saturn rules Capricorn, so it's a good planet for business, but it's a more structured kind of, whereas Mars would be more explosive growth, and Jupiter's just always expansion. So my problem is, you know, when I was a kid, I used to read like the little astrological things, daily astrology things all the time. And I'm like, oh, none of this works. And then when I got into college, somebody actually did a chart for me, and I was blown away at how, you know, accurate this was, right? And so I started studying astrology. And one of the reasons why the daily horoscope things don't work is because it's one planet, one day, and it doesn't match up to, you know, everything else that's going on. It's too singular, you know, like for you, well, for me, I'm a Libra, right? And so what's happening for me is not just what my sun sign happens to go. It's all of my planets and how they interact with each other, and what planets are, you know, aspecting them by their movement through the heavens, you know. So doing this kind of stuff astrologically can be kind of tricky, because when you're only looking at one planet and one planet's behavior, and it's not relative to anything, then it's harder to figure out what's going on, right? I think we did once, a long time ago, we tried to do like an astrological chart on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right. See, that would be a lot more useful.
Yeah, I have.
And I think Gann did that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He had it for the New York Stock Exchange and things like that.
So then it's relative to something, right? The planets movements are only relative to themselves if you're just looking at what they're doing. But if you're comparing them to where they're crossing over a chart and the aspects they're making to planets, then it's a lot more relevant.
Okay.
Right. So what you're doing here, not bad, because these big planets have big energy and they have a subtle effect. Right. But it's not relative to anything unless you're working with a chart for a coin or something like that. It might be interesting. Maybe we should do a chart for anti.
Right.
That would be very, very interesting.
Right. That would be super interesting.
Yeah.
McAfee's third podcast is out.
Yeah.
Talking about holding on to your Bitcoin, not letting anyone else hold it. Okay. One thing that was in there in that Jupiter slide was about ETH. I don't know. You don't know this, but a big bank, probably the most bullish legacy bank, Standard Chartered, effectively gave up on Ethereum yesterday. Okay.
What do you mean?
Well, that means they thought their year-end target was 10,000 and they reduced it to 4,000.
What their year-end target?
Right. So
for how much they were going to, I'm sorry.
Okay, let's start over.
So
a bank named Standard Chartered, which is
I don't need that information. But what does year-end target mean?
That means where they think Bitcoin is going to be.
Oh, so their
Ethereum
prediction.
Their prediction.
Oh, okay.
Right. So their prediction was 10,000 by the end of the year. They changed that to 4,000.
Okay.
Which is a way of giving up. They're giving up. They're capitulating.
But they're not selling.
So. No, they're not selling. But
so who cares? It's just their opinion, right?
Okay. All right. Well,
Everyone thought I was crazy when I said, over a year ago, Bitcoin's going to hit 100K before the end of the year, and it did. And now,
Well, yeah, but Ethereum sucks so bad. I mean, I got guys calling me on a regular basis going, "Hey, do you think we need to bail? Do you think we need to bail?" It's like, it's so bearish. Like it's so hard.
So what does that tell you when it's that bearish?
Well, I know what it tells me. It tells me if there's no reason to buy it at all, buy it. If it has redeeming value, if it's not,
Well, for me, the reason you get ETH is because there's so many good DeFi projects and even more coming out on it. It's going to be the primary platform for that kind of stuff. So why would you?
Well, no. I agree with you. Mainly just because it's so contrarian. Like everyone, you just can't believe the things that people are saying. I'm not even going to tell you. I don't have enough room on my disaster porn sheet to go over that for what people have to say about ETH. I just can't do it. There's not enough room. Okay, so if we're not giving up on ETH, and you know what? Everyone's getting all negative about Solana. Everybody except Big Rich. I know he's a member.
Yeah.
Everyone's packing it in on Solana. You have guys bragging there's a guy bragging about being short Bitcoin with 40x leverage at 85K. There's another guy online bragging that, I've got this huge short in Solana. It's all over Twitter. It's like, what are these guys doing?
I can't stand when people do that. I think I told you that's like, craps.
But everyone's like, what crypto Twitter does is everyone's like, oh my God, what do these guys know? Do they know something?
I think you need to get out of the gossip girl, mean girl groups.
All right. Well, I mean, that's Twitter. I mean,
if they're
I got to do 2 1-hour news shows a day. And, I can't be like, hey, it's the blue bonnets. I end with that, but I have to refute a lot of this other stuff.
I know it probably gets exhausting.
Oh my God, Steve J is here. We're doing this for non-members today, but I'm glad we're doing it for Steve J. Can I tell you who Steve J is?
Yes.
Okay. Steve J was into DeFi, has been into DeFi for no joke, 5 years. Right. So Steve J, when the market was in the abyss multiple times, Steve J's like, hey Bill, can you chart DeFi? I'm like, Steve, Steve is the DeFi warrior. He held DeFi. Good. He held DeFi when it was at zero.
Good.
So okay.
Ask him what his favorite projects are.
I think Steve J is an Aave guy. Steve J would be happy to tell us what his favorite stuff is. I don't know. This is what happens. Oh, Steve J says Aave 500 by the end of May. Okay, that's pretty robust. I had in the GAN roadmap thing about Aave going to 500. I don't know if I had it in May.
I don't feel May, but I do feel this year. So
Okay. So yeah, we're feeling 500. By the way, again, this is what happens when the Eagle King doesn't set up the streams. But we have members and we have everybody else today.
Well, welcome to all
I'm
of the
Bill. This is
non-members.
Tobie. We just did all this inappropriate language, thinking it was behind the paywall. Welcome to the show. This is what we do here.
Well, at least you're getting like a taste and a little more.
Right. So yeah, we got people in here hanging out.
I think the most exciting ones are the happy hours, though, and we got to have a happy hour.
Yeah.
We got to schedule it.
Yeah. Well, that we're saving the roadmap.
The roadmap.
Well, like I'm trying to get all the questions for the roadmap so you can, we basically do the roadmap on tequila. So everyone else will give you the roadmap. We give you the roadmap on tequila. Somebody said this was the best show of the year. I'm glad you like it. We're pushing the boundaries of good taste. If that works for you, we will continue to do so. Did take me a lot of work to do that thumbnail, but I'm happy to continue on that line. Wrong again says, Bill, you're not supposed to cross the streams. Sorry, bro. Market update. So we'll do spring over here, and then we'll do apocalypse with charts later. We'll get all that addressed. We'll sort everyone out there. Okay, so we can
answer a couple questions.
Yeah, well, I'm sure somebody wants to know, actually, you know what? If people don't have questions, I can put this up. Okay, so I'll put this up on the screen. And
is that what you're going to do on your show today?
No, I got other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well, we might talk about Jesus on the show, but maybe not.
Okay. So let's do Jesus. Yeah.
No, we did Jesus.
Oh,
because no, actually, we didn't. I did. I never asked you about Easter seasonals.
No,
can Bitcoin really go up? Can Bitcoin go to 160K on a line? Like in the short term, can that actually happen?
You mean May is when you're talking about?
Yeah. I mean, because that's what the Jesus query is about, right?
I mean, I think what I said before, and it still feels really true, is what keeps coming to me is we got to hit that 120 first, right?
Right.
We got to hit that 120. 120 is going to be critical. Once we hit that 120, and I feel like we're going to get really close in May. We're going to I'm feeling like it's going to. Right now, we're like wobbling around 80. I think we're going to start wobbling around 100 again, which will bring people in. But we got to push over that 120. It's not, it's going to be another resting point for a little while until we get over it. And then it's going to go, right?
All right. Well, I'm sure the customer base is very much looking forward to, because right now it's, right. That's what we have now. Megan, oh my God. Megan is here. What's up? God, I'm so happy I pushed the wrong button and everybody could come check us out. By the way, if you're not a member and you do like what's going on here, please feel free to come join us in the member area. We would love to have you. And if the market,
we get a little more detailed in the member area.
If the market, yeah. We do single names. We do all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to show it. Maybe me and the Eagle King are trying to show it at the same time. Please check the link down below.
Especially because we got the crypto roadmap for the next quarter coming up with tequila. Y'all are welcome to join me.
Yeah, that definitely has to be behind the paywall.
It's a fun show.
Right.
I know.
Although we are seeing how inappropriate we can be. Hopefully the channel still works by the time I have to go to the market update. Okay, I did want to show you this, so I'm going to share this. So since we have Steve here, and I know Steve's going to be really pumped about this. So I don't know. I did a bunch of GAN stuff, basically saying that we've created a crisis with no crisis like 2022. Mm-hmm. And if that unwinds itself and we go to
it's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So here's Grok's estimate of awesome. I know we talked about render last time going from $2 to $4. Mm-hmm. So this is Grok's
that has in May. Yeah.
This is the May price targets from Grok based on some of these assumptions. Right. So Chainlink would go from like 14 to 21, but there's 500 in Aave. And we didn't, that's, the computer thought of that. Right. We didn't think of that. And then Phantom, which is now Sonic. Remember how you liked Sonic?
Yeah.
Phantom would go from like 50 or 60 cents to $2.
Interesting.
Sonic, that was one of the hot DeFi things last time.
Yes.
Right. So, yes. I mean, is this resonating with you at all?
Oh yeah.
Because these are the numbers you said were too low, right? XRP at 450. in May.
For May.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, and we'll do this when we do the roadmap and stuff, we'll go through, because what I need to do is see the CoinGecko chart, and then I can visually, it looks a way to me, and it's not something I can translate to anybody else. But when without all those extra colored lines that you like to put in, it feels like a movement to me. And it's a little bit easier as we get closer now to May. That's why I'm excited about it. I can look at it and go, okay, see that time increment there, that it looks like it's going to be around that, right? Because you're measuring it not by imaginary time outside of the energy that the chart is in, but you're measuring it by the energy of the movement of that chart, right? You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
No, but you understand it, so I get it. You have your own way of looking at charts and TA, which is completely, universally, unequivocally original from what the entire planet is doing. All right, I wanted to show you 2017.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so this is 2017. This is what Bitcoin did. So this is like 4K. This is 20K. This is the banana singularity.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first time you said 20K to me, I'm like, well, the rallies later. But then you keep looking at me. You keep giving me that head tilt and going, 2017. I'm like, all right, go back to my office, find 2017. Okay, so some of this historical analysis says, like in the mole map, you are here. We are here in this analysis. And then this is like, slow up, drop, and then banana zone.
Yeah.
And does this, I mean,
I wish I could see like the whole year, but because I think when I was talking about 2017, I was talking about like the whole year, because we're talking about timing for this.
Okay.
Right. And so if you want to look at, at the timing of things, but that is accurate. But I think I think the big up move is going to happen in the fall, and May is going to be a small up move. And then let's all just take vacation, because the summer is going to be pretty easy. But, there's a lot of stuff on that.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on here. I'm not even sharing it yet. So I'm trying to get.
Your charts are like an art project.
They are. So unfortunately, I don't seem to have all of 2017 at once right this second, but this is important enough and more than likely worth the wait. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to get computer cooperation here. For anybody that's joining us, or for anybody that's waiting and wondering what the F we're doing, we're basically trying to get Tobie a look at 2017, because Tobie is pretty convinced that this year is going to be a 2017 repeat, which, I know a long time crypto.
So this is fall.
Right. So, okay.
And then this is May, right?
Okay, this is July of 2017.
Oh, that's July. Okay, so that's May. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just talking about the wave patterns, right?
Right. So this is, again, it's almost, it's borderline indiscernible. Like in January of 2017, Bitcoin was at 1,000. Are
you sharing it?
Not yet.
Yeah, share it so they can see.
Okay.
Before you start pointing to things on there.
Okay. So in January of 2017, Bitcoin started at a low of 672.
Yeah, and it was a pretty
then by
big low for a long time, right?
Right. By the end of May, Bitcoin was at 2,400. So you got a 4x in Bitcoin between the low in March. The low in March was 900, and the high in May was like 2,800. So that's pretty big.
Yeah.
So Tobie is implying that you could have this, which, frankly, should be behind the paywall.
And then a dip over the summer.
If I can figure out why this is how this occurs. This is baby banana, right?
Yeah.
And then you have then you have like July,
Summer.
August, ugly.
Summer. Yeah, take
Summer,
a vacation.
Take a vacation, right? Sell in May and go away, and then come back for big banana.
Yeah.
Like the banana's off the chart.
Yeah.
You know, the banana was 3K to 20K.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. You keep going. Yeah. And I go back to August. You know, you keep saying it. I was like, how does this happen? Like everyone's like, oh, it's going to zero. It's winter. ETH's never going up again. You can't even believe it. I mean, I know you can believe it, but maybe you can't. But that's good. This is why the show's awesome, right? Because people are just like,
this is why I'm the only one saying it. And I've been saying 2017 since last year. I'm like, it's going to look like 2017. You know, so the highs and the lows, there can be some variability. The exact timing, there can be some variability. But after 2025, you can lay that on top of 2017 and see how the energy maps with each other.
well,
And for me, I don't need to know a reason why. I did that when I was younger, when I didn't really believe in my psychic things. I mean, I was a scientist, you know, I was not believing in this stuff, but it just was always right. And sometime at some point in my late 20s and early 30s, I'm just like, okay, I guess this thing is happening.
well,
and so I don't need to know a reason
nobody
why.
in crypto is going to complain about baby banana followed by correction, followed by big banana when bullish sentiment is at zero. That's at zero. And of course, maybe that's how you get baby banana. Bullish sentiment was at zero in 2019 in the spring, and Bitcoin went up 100%.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, out of nowhere. I mean, I kept telling people, look.
And we have to enjoy these things with Bitcoin right now, because as there's more adoption, as more and more governments start having in financial myths, we're not going to see these big bananas anymore. It's going to behave a lot more like the stock market. I'm not the only person who said it. I'm the only person I know that said it a couple of years ago, you know, but now a lot of people are saying it because of the ETFs and all the things I've been talking about and for a really long time. And then we're going to have to, you know, that's why last summer, I was adamant, this is the time. If you haven't got in before, get in now, because it's going to go crazy pants. It's going to go crazy pants. In 2025, we're going to see that. We're going to see crazy pants by the end of the year. That's what I told everybody, you know, in our private, audience, right? Channel.
Yeah.
Right. When I did the quarter, I'm like, 2025 is going to be like
the member area
crazy.
with the button I can't seem to press right. I don't know what happened, but you know, people are here and we are happy you are here.
So if you've been a member for a long time, I mean, we got new people on stream, which is really exciting.
Right, Kamina.
But you already knew all of this was coming, right?
Right.
So you don't have to worry.
Right.
You can just like what I like to do when the market's down, it's the best time for looking at new coins. And so that's kind of what we've been talking about while the market's down. I don't really care what everybody else says. They're wrong.
No, that's what I keep telling people like every day. This is the market update, and you're wrong. And here are all the reasons why you should be bullish, and the market goes,
yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Well,
I don't care.
The difference is you have to come up with a reason. I don't. I'm just like, yeah. You know, people ask me, is this the bottom? Yeah, it's the bottom. It's a long bottom, but it's a bottom.
Right. Well,
it's not going to turn around tomorrow.
Right.
And that's why I keep telling people, May. Just wait.
All right. So the answer to Steve's question is, if you want to share, if you want to share charts, check out the middle tier offering Patreon. They have a chat group. So this show gets you this. We might throw up banter bubbles or CoinGecko if we have time. Patreon, if you want to share charts, it's got a chat room like Telegram where you can share charts and talk about it with everybody. You know, a lot of guys are in there sharing stuff. So, you know, do that's like, you know, that's.
I should go in there.
Yeah, that's cheap. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can go in there.
Well, I mean, I'm already a member, but I'm.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do this, you know, we do this exclusively for the YouTube member area because it's like picks and roadmaps and like super detailed stuffs and banana singularity, because, you know, we can only do so much banana singularity on the free channel because people are just like, I'm not listening. Like, you should see the free channels. Like, buy Bitcoin now. I'm buying. Why you should buy Bitcoin? Why you should get involved? Nothing. To your crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Yeah, I feel sorry for
Okay, I got Bill's profile interview with Julian for CT Magazine. You should gift me in. All right, sir, I would love to, but the powers that be that run these things from behind, don't let me push that button. But one day when we're a gigantic operation and we can just hook you up, we will hook you up. But I appreciate anything that you did to help me in the past, right? Megan is here. Kamina is here. GT, right? I'm in Yuzubing. I don't know if that's a crypto or a city in Europe. I don't know. Okay.
Maybe
Philip is here.
Eagle King could look it up.
Right. Eagle King. It's like, is Steve J. It's not tequila, it's tequila. Yeah, man. Steve J. likes Maker, ENA, and Ribbon. Remember Ribbon?
Oh, yeah. Gosh, we haven't seen Ribbon. Oh, it really suffered last year. Yeah.
Right.
Poor thing. Ribbon.
Right.
That's interesting. We could look at the chart.
Okay.
Go to CoinGecko, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to CoinGecko. Massive altcoin overtime live TA bonanza for all of our friends out there. And yeah, so we're going to look at Ribbon. We're going to look at DeFi, which no one talks about except us. Ribbon. Okay. So here's 3 months of Ribbon.
Oh,
I know, right? What a shit show. Yeah, it's just like
it's been struggling. So I'm assuming
okay.
How far?
There's 3 months.
Yeah. Great time to get in.
Okay, all right. All right.
I mean, this levitation that's going to happen in May is going to pick everything up. My focus this year, though, I mean, Ribbon's great, not my favorite project. I like Aave better in this. But what I'm really focused on, especially now the market is down, new. This is the year of new projects coming out. Tons of them. Lots of exciting stuff.
There's Aave.
Yeah.
So Steve should go find some newer DeFi if he can.
Yeah, I mean, so the way I like to look at bull markets is like the ocean. The water pulls back. It has low tide, and that's when you go out and dig for crabs. Super yummy, love crabs, seashells, all the things that are normally hidden by the flooded market. Right? It makes sense, right? In all kinds of things. So, and this year, especially, I think this year, a lot of new projects are going to be coming out. So I'm always looking for them, small caps, new projects. Right now, I'm more favoring new projects over existing stuff that's kind of been just sort of, it's lost its energy. It's like a bicycle that has flat tires. You know what I mean? It still works, but it needs to get inflated. And for me, it's just more exciting to go look at new projects right now. I have, my classic we got our buckets. This is something I like to talk about. Oceans and buckets. We're collecting shells on the beach.
On the seashore. This is not the market update. Okay, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you want to have, and we go into depth in the private channel about what buckets you want to be putting your stuff in and all that kind of stuff. But this is the year of new. So y'all, for the non-private channel that we're having right now, this is the best advice I can give you. Look at new stuff. It's going to be a big year for new projects. Huge new stuff. Be patient. It's all going to work out.
Right. Yeah. The new stuff's all down. Like most of our banter bubbles, which, we'll save a lot of that for the roadmap. But I mean, like everything, all the new stuff is down like 40% just in the last 30 days.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Right. I mean, it's just like, it's.
I'm the only one.
There used to be.
Oh, it's down. I'm like, oh, that's excellent.
I know.
Oh, yay, it's on sale.
I know. Again, this is not
better than Nordstrom's.
Right. Well, there
yearly.
Yeah. There was a famous gigantic suit discounter in New Jersey because everyone used to wear suits. Ran the place was called, his first name was Sai. And every time the market went down, my father would say, it's the Sai Sims Markdown, right? The suits, the cryptos, it's all been marked down to like absolutely zero. Havoc is reminding everyone to hit the like button. By the way, speaking of that, it would be really helpful to me and Tobie if you would turn on the notifications bell.
Yeah, we're having an issue with people being notified when we're doing a stream.
Right.
And if we get a lot of people coming in and hitting the notification every once in a while, I know we don't like to because I blurt. And it definitely won't be on tequila.
I mean, I had like
tequila is only going to go on the private show.
Pay-per-view thumbnail. We had pay-per-view language in the beginning, and it's all out there. So hopefully the market update is coming up at noon Eastern. Hopefully the channel will still work. That's okay. People like the show. Yeah, hit the notification button because actually what we have is we have a huge number of subscribers, but not everyone's got the bell on. So having the bell on helps us, and it'll help you. And I promise I won't do a totally obnoxious number of shorts, so it's not going off on your phone all day.
And if you like this too, I mean, I would consider doing an additional show.
Yeah,
we just have to be careful.
Yeah, we got to be careful to take care of our members. But today we're just kind of going off. Yeah, so it's like it's like Steve J said, Tobie, the tide is out, but only the skeletons are around. It's like Steve J is just describing like the abyss. I actually had something like that come out.
There is.
I'm trying to generate thumbnails, and it's like a skull hand holding a Bitcoin. It's a skull hand, and it says crypto apocalypse. I'm like, this is not what I'm talking about. This is not. I'm trying to get people off of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I know it can seem like that, but you're in charge of your own perception. Like maybe he hasn't ever gone shell. There's a lot of crap out there. You just got to dig through it to find the good stuff. But, if you're sitting back on the beach and the tide's going out and all you see is skeletons and you don't go out and look, well, then that's on you, right? Because it's not how you find treasure. You don't find treasure, walking out your front door and people are like, here's a bag of crypto for you. That's not how it works. It would be nice, but it's not how it works. This is work. You don't throw down a bunch of boards and then toss some nails at it and expect to build the platform of the future. That's not how it works. Get your damn hammer out, people. Get to work. We're building the platform of the future. I know those of you on the private channel hear me say that all the time. If you look at it that way, then it's fine. If you look out there and you just see bones of dead people, then maybe you're not in the right thing. Maybe you should invest in, I don't know, real estate. Real estate's pretty good right now.
No, we're not doing that. I can't bring myself, I can't seed Web3 to Web2. All I hear is about all these big companies expanding and doing stuff. And I'm like, everyone keeps dumping our stuff. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's so wrong. It's just not the right trade.
But that's okay. I mean, like you brought up the charts before. And so we'll just reiterate, this is something that Tony Robbins says a lot. And there's a ton of data on this. The people, the business companies that are started during, he has a whole list of them. I don't remember. I think Uber, and then you can go way back and
Apple.
even Gann, didn't he start making money when everything was down?
Gann shorted everything in the 20s. That's how Gann made all his money.
And, so there's opportunity in it. Like you said,
there were guys that bought the bottom of
Churchill.
Yeah, Churchill.
So, this is it. You want to ride the bull in the bull market. You got to take your diaper off and I'm trying to think. Am I going to be inappropriate?
Well, it's too late now. It's too late now, sister. Tobie has been hiding behind the paywall. Avalanche or Solana?
Avalanche or Solana? Right now? Okay, so I like Solana long term. I'm not going to get rid of any of my Solana, but I do think Avalanche will take off first. So I think Avalanche is a great buy. It's been coming to me for a week.
When were you going to tell me that?
I did. I told you when I talked to my friend, who I'm not going to say her name, Yeah, she brought it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's really great. You have to see. That's the thing.
This is why I have to tune into the show.
You have to ask me questions, and then the answers come to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Avalanche is big on security tokens, right? So this is the
yeah.
thing. Like how, I don't know how they're gonna. We talked about all this stuff and all this debt and all these banks and all this stuff. I keep telling people this is the one thing I am getting right. That
this is the one thing.
The one thing.
Bill only gets one thing right a day.
Right.
That's it.
But
That's
I only have to get this one thing right.
That's right.
That all of this negative stuff that's out there, all this like Dalio down in the mouth stuff, the relative pressure in the system is an move in crypto, not a crash in everything else, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's the
that's what you got out of the show today.
Well, no, that's what I've been telling people for a while. It's the only thing that makes any sense. You're talking about 2017. You won't stop saying it. Like my name isn't Bill. It's 2017. Every time you look at me, you go, hey, 2017. I'm like, well, the only way that happens is if the negative stuff is vented in a positive way. Right. And I'm sure I had something else to say there. But, oh, yeah, an Avalanche, again, security token functionality. I don't know how you're going to have a resolution to all this stuff with debt and all this issuance that has to happen without a robust, speedy adoption of security tokens. They either do it during the massive debt issuance or they go, gee, I guess we should have done that, and then go to warp speed.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah. And the financial stuff, all the DeFi stuff, and the AI stuff, we're still going to have a narrative around that because the newbies coming in, are going to be attracted to the AI stuff. They're going to be like, oh, I didn't know crypto was a way to invest in AI, and so that's going to be a big narrative because we're really going to start feeling the impact of what's happening in AI this year. In the future, where I live,
2050.
Yeah.
My name is Bill. I live on crypto Twitter. This is Tobie. She lives in 2050. That's why the show works. Go ahead.
I was going to say. but yeah, no, and we'll see this as the beginning of the revolution. That's why I keep comparing it to the early days of the internet because nobody had a clue of what was going to happen there, right? And now it's everything. Right. This is going to be like that times 100.
Right.
And so anything you do at this point cannot be a mistake. It doesn't even really matter from the point of view of it doesn't matter what you do right now because it's all going to be great. The only thing you could do wrong is get out of crypto. That's the only thing you can do wrong. Other than that, it's all good. That's it.
Okay, people, that's the show.
It's all good. If you're here and you're in the market, you're doing the right thing. Long term, it's going to be awesome.
All right. For God's sakes, people, I know most of you are already there. Thank you for supporting us. To our customers, please check out the YouTube member area where we do this on a regular basis. Right. Patreon, the middle tier offering. If you want to see all of Steve J's cool DeFi charts and Big Rich Bull Post Solana, please get in there. That's the 6th Street Crypto Podcast. This is all about you and all about, me doing the interviews. And that's how this works. And we kick ass and take names, and you will not see this anywhere else in crypto. So thank you for tuning in.
Subscribe.
Turn on the bell.
Turn on the bell.
We'll see you Thursday.